Hey everyone, welcome back to Iguana Gaming. I'm the Iguana, and today we are playing some ARK Survival Evolved Mobile Edition. Today guys, a new update has been released, and so we are going to check out some of the features that have been brought in now, and go through all of the patch notes, just kind of letting people know what is happening. So, first and foremost, we're going to go through some of the smaller things here because there's a lot of pretty big changes that I want to go through in a little bit more detail later on. So, for a quick rundown of some of the smaller stuff, creature implants can't give potent dust anymore when they're ground up in the industrial grinder. I know that a lot of people did use that as a way to farm potent dust, and it makes sense that they removed that feature with the new implant request system that you have. For example, if these guys lose their implant, you can actually try to request the implant of the creature here on their stats menu, and basically that allows you to farm up infinite amounts of potent dust, which is not great. So I think that's why they removed that feature. They also fixed a couple of exploits, infinite weight exploit that you could do on Quetzals with chairs. I had heard about that one. Unfortunately, for some people that has been removed. I'm pretty grateful because that means that some resource, basically glitching gathering, can be removed now. Unofficial server transfers have a 7-day cooldown before being able to transfer back to the server you left. I think that's really important because it means that you can't just like hop onto another server, get a bunch of stuff, and then hop back onto your own server. You are going to have to wait for that 7-day cooldown now. That might be good or bad, it kind of depends, but I'm okay with it being that way. Wild raptors can't be carried in PvE and PvX game mode. Apparently that was a bug where you could pick up raptors when you shouldn't have been able to, because those game modes do have aggressive creatures picking up disabled, and so now they fixed the raptor after the TLC pass so that it also can't be carried. Photo mode reporting has been disabled on unofficial servers, which is definitely good news. Normally when you're in photo mode, there is a button in the upper right hand corner that's a little white flag that lets you report players breaking rules or undermeshing or anything that you can get a picture of. You can report with that feature, and they've taken that away from unofficials for what I hope are obvious reasons, because they don't actually control unofficials. Wardrum doesn't. So that's been removed. Unclaimed creatures can no longer mate. That is fantastic news, because I know a lot of people were having issues with dodo breed explosions where unclaimed dodos would just be wandering. No one would ever claim them, and they would basically create these massive groups of dodos that would just keep breeding endlessly and start basically breaking the server. So I'm really, really glad that that feature is gone. They've also removed the Griffon level up prevention in God Console, so I can show you here on Rad Mommy. I will not be abusing this glitch, I will not be abusing this feature because I don't actually want to use God Console too much on this particular game. So if you go to your God Console, you can now hit level up target on a Griffon, and the Griffon has been given a level. Now, you could have tried to use that before, but there used to be a block on it where you couldn't level up Griffons with the God Console and the Admin Console, and now you can. So that's good news for a lot of players who really, really hate the traditional level system. So that is kind of interesting news. They've also added a C4 decay after 15 minutes in PvX and PvX clock modes. Now, that is because while you were in the PvE zone, you used to be able to place C4 on other people's bases while it was PvE, and then just wait for it to switch to PvP to blow people's structures up. So definitely a pretty big bug, and now you have to be within 15 minutes of placing the C4 before you can blow it up. So that is a pretty good change, and I am pretty happy about that. Okay, they've also increased Griffon's base weight by 25%. Which is amazing because Red Mommy used to have about 400 weight and now it's like 600, so That is awesome. I'm really happy about that. I often use Griffons. I carry stuff around on them all the time, and they can get weighed down with a lot of items very quickly. So just a relatively normal amount of meat like this would weigh her down. And so it's actually very good that they've upped the Griffon Weight stat. I'm actually really pleased with that change. Now, they've also added that revived creatures maintain spayed-neutered status, so for people who are major breeders on official or unofficial servers, you no longer have to worry about people just reviving the creature and breeding their own line. You now have complete control over that line, because once you neuter a creature, it is neutered no matter how many times you revive it, which is awesome. Okay. Now we're going to get to some of the bigger items here, guys, and there are a couple of things, but they are pretty major. So, first off, Direwolves, Procoptodons, and Chalicos can now wear helmets. So, I have some Direwolves here. I decided to make up some helmets, and so I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch of stuff, all of the items that I have basically, into its inventory. And I'm actually going to go ahead and equip this. Oh my god, that looks ridiculous. That looks so funny. Yeah, but the Direwolf can wear a helmet. Let's go ahead and give it a skin so it doesn't look quite so funky. There we go. Trike bone helmet skin. That looks alright. That fits pretty well. Looks kind of cute. Now, my major issue with this, guys, is that now Direwolves can have armor. Direwolves did not used to be able to have armor. Now I can put a 600 armor flak helmet on my Direwolf, or 900, or whatever it is that you have. You can add armor to your Direwolf. And now I know a lot of people that use Direwolves regularly are going to be very happy about that. I am a little bit concerned because that means Direwolves are now the only creature you should be taking into caves. They can get the absolute most armor. They fit into every cave pretty easily, and because they have a faster attack speed and slightly better melee than sabers do, there's really no reason to use a saber. There's really no reason to use a Baryonyx. There's not even really a reason to use a Gigantopithecus anymore. Gigantopithecus do also have that armor ability because you can put helmets on them, but nothing like a Direwolf is going to be able to do in terms of damage and speed. So I think Direwolves are now the only creature you should be using in caves, and I actually am kind of sad about that personally. I love sabers, and now I have zero reason to use one, so that might be a thing at some point. Oh cool, we have some Dillos attacking. Beautiful. Way to interrupt the video, guys. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna have to sort out this mess. Yeah, so essentially it's a little bit of a bummer for me since we cannot actually use this anymore. Yeah, I love sabers, and now I feel like I'm stuck with a wolf. As much as I know a lot of people love wolves and will love this change, I do think it's a little sad that now you don't have as many good options for caving. Obviously you want to use whatever is best in caves, and now the Direwolf is undoubtedly the best creature to use in caves no matter what because of this armor function. That was the only thing they didn't have really going on for them before. Yeah, on the other hand, you know, helmet skins, they're great. There's a lot of really cute ones out there. Let's go ahead and use the glasses. Yeah, that's pretty cute. And the angel wings, I love that as well. And they actually look really good on this particular wolf. It's great. Yeah, so I'm excited about that, but the Direwolves do obviously concern me for all of the reasons I've already listed. Yeah, so it is what it is, but I guess we'll just have to figure that out when we come to that. Hopefully they'll make some changes later on that will allow other creatures to be equally as good for running caves, but currently just Direwolves are what you should be using. Now, I don't have a Procoptodon on hand. Unfortunately, I did go out looking for one, but now we have the Chali. So the Chalicotherium is a very cool creature, and it can now also wear helmets, and they were also very strong. So you can now give it a helmet. Looks a little funny, but it definitely does work. It kind of cuts into the face a little bit. But now you can also give them skins as well. So that's kind of fun. I do like that you can give them skins. That one's a little bit funky looking, but I like it. Alright, so yeah, you can give them skins, and now they have a little bit more armor than they did to begin with. So Chalies are just going to get even better, guys. If you are very much interested in using Chalies because they are super strong, yeah, go ahead and get yourself a Chali, because this is like an intense amount of armor that they've got going on, and they do a ton of damage just naturally. So Chalies are now a really good creature to take around, probably pretty good for PvP as well. So there is that. Procoptodons don't have much use other than looking cute, but they can now wear helmets, so you can put bunny ears on what is essentially something that already looks like a bunny. So I think that's good, and I'm pretty happy with that change. I wish I had a Procoptodon on hand. I will be looking for one in the near future here. Okay, so a few other things here. We now also have a Recolor Target option in the God console. So this has gotten very, very crowded, but essentially you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of my God console, there is a new button that says Recolor Target. So you can now recolor your wolf, or whatever creature it is, and it will basically just cycle through a ton of random selections of naturally occurring colors, it looks like, because I'm not getting any fun colors here. Yeah, I think it's just naturally occurring colors on a creature. And you can just go until you find one that you like. So if I wanted a gray wolf, I now have a gray wolf. So if you have a particularly bad looking creature, you can recolor it, and it will no longer look quite so bad. I might try to use this on a Griffon at some point, because it would actually be really fun to get a Griffon with the white wings like I've always wanted. Yeah, so that's an option you can have now. If we want our Chali to be red, we can do that. So pretty cool, actually. I'm not too sad about this. I actually really like this feature of God Console. I think it's super fun because some of the naturally occurring colors are just not great. Yeah, and now they are great. So I'm very excited about that particular change. Okay. Now, there are also a few more changes that I want to go through here. First off, there are new store items. I'll go ahead and go through those here, but I'm probably going to purchase them on a different game, a different server, because that is where I mostly use those things. Right, so if you go into accessories, I believe there is now a Manticore helmet, which is pretty great, and I believe you can also use that to skin the appearance of a helmet, and you can put that on a creature as well. So you could put a Manticore helmet on one of those creatures that can now wear helmets, which is awesome. So it looks like they're going to finish the Manticore set at some point, which will be great. I know a lot of people have been asking for that. Alright, and it does cost 60 amber. Now, they also have in decor, they have a new Equus statue, which is pretty amazing. I love the Equus. And it's only 50 amber, so it's actually pretty cheap. So I think the Equus statue is going to be making its appearance pretty quickly. And there's a Direwolf rug. Now, this is 70 amber. Kind of a lot, but not terrible. Yeah, and you can now put Direwolf rugs around, which is awesome. So you can definitely take advantage of that, get some cool wolf rugs going around to match like your saber rugs or your Titanoboa rugs. I think that's a really nice addition. We definitely needed a direwolf rug, so now we have one. I would be pulling direwolves out of the ice cave like as trophies. I think that would be good. Not you, don't worry, you're fine. Okay, so now I am going to take a quick cutscene here and show you guys a very cool new feature that you can use on single player game to basically lessen your file save size. So I'll bring you guys back in just a minute here. Okay, so we are back. There is a new feature in the Manage Save Data section of the game. So if you are in the Play ARK menu, you should see this Play Single Player, Play Multiplayer page. You want to click on Manage Save Data, and now you can see we have all of this save data information. My current save is 18,585 kilobytes, which is quite large. So I actually have that stored as my local backup 3. So I'm going to actually go ahead and save that. All right. Now what I want to be able to do is save that to the iCloud. So I'm going to go ahead and click save on that. And we're waiting. Okay, and you can see here there is a cloud data error. So unfortunately, what that means is that my save is probably too large to save to the iCloud save slot, which would allow me to transfer it between devices. So what they've added is a new option in-game in the extras menu to tidy up the single player save. And so what I'm going to do is actually go ahead, rejoin my single player game here. All right, we got to wait for it to load in, obviously. There we go. I'm going to go into the extras menu, which is here. And you can see on the left-hand side, there is an Explorer Notes button, and there's a new Tidy Save button. So I'm going to click on the Tidy Save button, and it will remove some game data to make cloud saves smaller. Now, I think what that means is that it is getting rid of a lot of wild creatures that are spawning in. There we go. And now we can go ahead and, whoops, it's just right there. Go ahead and leave ARK in the lower right-hand corner. That will take you back to the main menu. We can re-enter that play ARK, go to manage save data, and now my save file is only 5,294 kilobytes. That is incredibly smaller. That is a difference of over 15,000? Yeah, over 15,000 kilobytes. So that is insane. I'm going to go ahead and resave it there. And I'm going to go ahead and try to save it now to the cloud. And now it saves to the cloud, guys. So major improvement there. You can now tidy up your save file. I think what it does is it gets rid of a lot of those extra game objects like wild creatures and stuff that the game has to remember. It probably does basically what's a dino wipe, which could also be useful if you want to wipe dinos and kind of encourage new spawns all at once. Just tidy up your save file. I think that will help a lot. Now, obviously, it probably doesn't get rid of anything important because all of my creatures were still there. But yeah, guys, that is an amazing thing. So if you have trouble with your cloud saves, use the tidy save button every time you go to exit the game and back it up to the cloud, because that is going to help you a lot. On the other hand, if you see a creature you really, really want to keep, maybe you don't use the tidy save button that day, and you can try to tame that before you use that button, because I'm pretty sure what it's going to do is erase a lot of things that you don't actually own in the game in order to reduce that save file. So be a little bit careful with that, but definitely a nice feature. And now you can back your games up to the cloud, finally. So that is great. Okay, now last thing, guys, is the Ascendant creature unlock. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into the game here. Okay, and now what we are looking for is in the in-game store, there is this new Ascendant creature unlock. So this, guys, I'm going to do a whole separate video on this, but just as a quick rundown, what it does is it allows, it basically allows you to unlimited level your creatures. It's called the Ascendant Creature Unlock, and if you'll notice, this is the icon they teased on Twitter the other day with the Rex wearing the sunglasses, which I think they should add as an item to the game. I would love to see sunglasses. And basically what it does, it's a permanent single player purchase, even with new characters, so it can be restored with the Restore Purchases button. And it makes Potent Dust apply 1,000,000 XP to creatures when it's absorbed. So it removes all tamed creature level limits. So now, if you want to actually purchase something, you now have the ability to go ahead yeah, if you wanted to like infinitely level up a creature that you own, I can add levels with God Console to this tamed direwolf, and basically there's a level cap that I hit, and I think it's around 70 levels. You can't add more than 70 levels to a creature. And so once you hit that level limit, you're kind of stuck with a creature that's whatever level that is. And with this new Ascendant creature item, you'll be able to infinitely level any creature that you already have tamed as long as you like. So that is definitely something to look for. Currently, I can just level up this target as many times as I want, up to 70 levels, and then it won't add any more levels beyond that. So you can see I already have 30 levels I can pump in. With the God Console, this allows you to do that forever. Now, a quick note about price point, and again, we'll be going over this in details later on. It is currently on sale for 40% off at $11.99 US. And what that means is that base price is typically $19.99 US. So that's 20 bucks if you wait to purchase this thing. So I'm going to review this in the next video here just so that you have an idea of what it does, and we'll kind of break it down and see if it's worth it, because this is an expensive feature, guys. It really only does one thing, and it's almost as expensive as a God Console on sale, and it is more expensive than the God Console normally. So yeah, we'll be reviewing that more in depth, but that is something that they changed in this particular update. So yeah, guys, I think that is actually going to do it. Quite a few things happening in this update. Nothing like super exciting, no new creatures, but a lot of changes that are probably actually going to affect the way that specifically the solo game is played, but in general how the game is played, especially with being able to add helmets and armor to direwolves now. That is going to change a lot of how caves are run. So yeah, guys, I think that is going to do it for today's update video. It was a lengthy one. Thank you for hanging in there. So please remember to hit that like button because it seriously helps me out. And if you want to see more content like this, you can, of course, subscribe. I will catch you guys all in the next one. Signing off, this is the Iguana.